The Blind Night. Hey Jesse, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I threw you off by not playing the intro music, didn't I?
You did, but I was
Uh,
still quiet.
yeah, which we're all surprised about, but hey, it's good. I was told I ought to take it easy on you with the whole interruption thing.
Oh, who told you that?
Somebody that's no longer in Knights of the Real now. Yeah,
Oh,
you know how it goes. Can't let subordinates begin to try to take over. But
oh,
you know how it is. Hopefully
yep.
this is recording. We all know how it was
We
last
had
week.
horrible luck last week,
Twice. I mean, not just once, but twice.
and then by
But
the third time, you and I are both like, I do not want to do this right now.
yeah, I we hung up off the call and then I opened up Gold Wave and just recorded and I know it was dreary. I know it was horrible, but at that point in time, it's like,
You
nah,
were pissed too,
yeah,
so you can't.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this goes along with part of the show. There's nothing like it not working. That's fine. I understand that part of it. Things happen.
Oh
Whether it's
yes.
Discord, it's Avery, or whatever. But why? Why does it not work so that I can fix that?
The worst part is that from doing the horror podcast is there's no reason why in a lot of cases, which drives me crazy.
Exactly. But let's get into some Knights of the Braille news. Some really, really. I wish I could find that sound, but never found one that I really liked.
Well,
But
you have me now.
exactly. I'm also hunting a new host.
Hey,
But some really really big Knights of the Braille news happened over this past week. Uh, Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, Jim, who started Knights of the Braille, is going to be stepping down and stepping back from running Knights of the Braille, due to some reasons that if you're wanting to know, it is on the general channel of the chat.
so you mean I have to go look at the general chat on the channel, log into Discord, and scroll down to find it?
If you want to know, yes. I'm not one that likes to talk about other people's
Right, 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 right.
that's so if you want to know, it is there. Um, and he has named his successor as well. So I will be running Knights of the Braille coming this Saturday forward. Once we
Wow.
once we get everything situated and everything flipped over, we will.
Well, congratulations. And I have to admit, when you said he was stepping back, I kind of, in my mind, thought, oh, I wonder if the other part of the news is the Georgian's going to run it.
Yeah, into the ground, sir. Into the
No, you're
ground.
going to do a great job. You're so, all joking and everything outside, you're so dedicated to this and to making the rule books and everything accessible. You're going to do a great job, I think.
Well, I mean, it's not like Jim isn't going to be around.
Right.
He just, wants. Not that there's a lot to do, but just wants to basically focus on him and his family, and I can't blame him for that.
Right. No.
And if anybody out there, and I mean this wholeheartedly, if anybody can blame him for doing that, then you don't want to be part of Knights of the Braille. That's just the way I feel because your health and your family come before any of this stuff that we
Yep.
do. So, Jim, take care of yourself. I mean, you mean a lot to me, friends, mates, my dudes, whatever you want to call it. You started it, and I just basically hope that I don't screw it up. But this is a great community, and I know it'll still be around. So yeah, but that's a major news in my opinion.
Jim, best of luck. I hope everything goes well with you. You know, you got me into this game. You D&D specifically, you made a dream of mine come true that I would play D&D, and I'll always be grateful to you for that and how welcoming you've always been. But I do have to say, and it wouldn't be us without a joke. You let this asshole be my boss now?
Exactly. Exactly.
Best of luck, though. Best of luck.
Everybody has one. Um, but like I said, Jim's still going to be here running Warhammer from time to time, I'm sure, and Mutant Year Zero that he runs on Saturday, every other Saturday, excuse me. Which brings me into our Game Master tip, section of the podcast.
Can I
Jesse,
ask a question first?
sure.
What kind of a game is Mutineer Zero? I've never heard of that.
It's a tabletop role playing game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I mean like what type? I guess I mean like what genre, what type?
I would say like really, really post apocalypse,
Oh, okay.
like you actually play a mutant with mutations. My character has wings like a butterfly or a fly. I can eat what they call rot, which is radiation kind of stuff
Oh,
to describe it. Um, my character also has no eyelids, no nose, and no lips. So it's really really cool. I have a little
sounds like a
dog.
real beaut.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to base him off of you, but it kind of
I
failed.
have eyelids and I don't have wings. Though. I wish I had. No, I don't wish I had wings. I'd probably run into shit.
Yeah. Um, but I also have a Chihuahua. His name is Atari. That I sent into battle one time, and he almost died. And basically, everybody in the group was like, "Don't ever do that again,"
That's
because
exactly what I would say.
Jim didn't want to kill the dog. But Novger has also created a zone wrestling federation. Where they bet on food and other things like that. A lot of fun, and it's a good group.
Mhm.
But and that just goes to show there's everybody don't think that while D&D is the most popular.
I think it always will be too. I don't think that ever will be challenged. Like in the mainstream, I mean.
And that's what I think. In the mainstream, yes, it will likely always be the most popular, but it's not the only one.
Right, right.
There's, this is just me going off the top of my head here, Jesse. There's Pathfinder. There's Mothership, which we just did 4 episodes of. There's Warhammer, which is another really popular one. I think there's one called Starfinder. I think it's the name of it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's from the same company that does Pathfinder.
yeah, there's Adventure Skeletons, which is
I
a
want that to be
blast.
the most popular in the world.
I mean, it's a blast to play. There's lots of free ones. There's some that you have to pay for. There's several that I want. You know, there's also a Harry Dresden one for all you Harry Dresden fans out there. There's other. Don't think that there's just D&D.
There's for any interest out there, pretty much.
Right? Yeah. Um. So when it comes to tabletop game, if you're not into D&D or you're tired of D&D, there's other stuff out there. Just look and find it. Um. But that's just what a lot of people think though, is that, oh, this is just D&D. You know.
Yep, that's just because that's what everybody's heard of. And like for our games, for instance, we still have the fantasy setting, but we modify the rules a little bit so we don't use D&D rules like your Wednesday game.
Right. Because I was getting tired of D&D, so and all the stuff that I have, on D&D Beyond, kind of morphed it into a little lit RPG, a little
Yeah.
easier to roll to hit,
Not as
and
much math.
right, which tends to bog it down a lot. So with that said, modify it to where it fits for you, and you still can use all the materials that you have. And you know, basically you want to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then find something where you are
That is
having
fun.
fun. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sorry I derailed it enough. What was your game tip you were going to say?
I don't know. See, you threw me all off now.
Oh, I'm sure you wrote it down.
Not really.
Oh, shit.
And it'll come after we do your reading recommendation. So um let's see here. But yeah, just know there's other stuff out there.
Which is what we try to highlight on here, kind of.
Exactly. Take a seat and listen for Jesse's reading recommendations.
Or you can stand. I mean, if you have one of those like standing desks or whatever they call them now and you want to stand, that's fine too. Today's reading recommendation is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. There's basically 4 Londons. There's Black London, Gray London, Red London, and White London. And they all have a different level of magic. And one of them, I think it's Black, has no magic. And Kel is our main character. He's a magician who can travel between all 4 magics, or all 4
Yes.
Londons, I mean. And he will get different items that people want and bring them back to them. Well, he gets caught up in an adventure with a pirate lady, and there's all kind of intrigue and things like that. It's a 4-book series. I guess there's going to be a spin-off series next year or the year after. I can't find any information about it. But the surprising thing about this, Richard, is I don't know if this is our first recommendation where this has happened, but I have read everything, the whole series. And not only did I read the whole series, I bought the whole series within a week of reading the first book.
Yeah.
So you know how crazy how slow I am with things. So if I read it in a week, it had to be good. And not only that, we all talk about how I like to read, the books on the Kindle, and I'll read some books in Braille with the Braille display, but I'll start out in Braille usually, but to get through it quicker, I'll read a lot of it in audio. I read all 4 books in Braille. So
when you're go ahead. I won't
no,
interrupt.
No, that's fine. That's fine. You go ahead. What were you gonna say?
When you read on Kindle, do you have a Bluetooth in your ear or headphones in your ear?
Usually no. Usually I just put the phone on my shoulder, actually.
Well, I will tell you this. If you get a Bluetooth that has A2DP connectivity, you can connect to your phone and it will play voiceover through your Bluetooth.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, I discovered that many, many years ago. Because I'm one who, I don't care if you hear what I'm typing, but I don't want to get on your nerves,
I keep my volume. Fuck, I interrupted you. I didn't even want to. I keep my volume at like 25%, where it's good for me if it's beside me, but Katie claims she can't hear it.
Yeah.
But great series. Love the characters, and I'm excited to see what more we get.
I can say that I read the first one. I recognized it whenever you said the guy's name, Kale. I quit reading it after the first one.
Okay.
It just wasn't my thing. And I may have read the second one. I'm not really sure, but it just wasn't my thing. And not that it's my recommendation, because nobody cares, as always. But
nobody should care.
I do. I can give you a book not to read.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about this.
And that is The Rose of Magic, the trilogy by J.T. Williams. And I did, like probably a lot of people did. And, there's a trilogy at 29 point something hours for 1 credit on Audible. Let me get that. Click. then I finally start reading it after I read a book by the same author, or partially read a book.
I'm
Couldn't.
surprised you got it after that, like going through that with the first book you read of his.
I had 5 seconds before you interrupted me.
Sorry, Barack.
Thank you. I thought I had gotten it before I read the book on Kindle, or tried reading it. And the book on Kindle had one of the characters in it, but they kept saying, well, I forget what to do. I forget what to do. My God, it happened like 6 sentences ago. So it's not like it's 25 days in between, the sentence and what you're supposed to do. I mean, it literally happened in the same scene. And just got on my nerves. I think I went into reading this book with a bad taste in my mouth as it was. So I think that's why I didn't like it. And, I got through like 25 hours of it, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I had it going at 2.0 speed, and
Oh, I've never gone that fast.
I mean, I can still tell what was going on, but literally,
Yeah.
Jesse, I would set my headphones down, walk away. I even set it down, wash dishes, come back, and I can tell you exactly what was going on, because they were still whining about they need to do this, but that's wrong to do.
Lord.
Yeah, I just couldn't handle it anymore. So went back to reading, or started the 5th book in the Way of the Shaman series by Vasily Makaninko, is actually how you say his last name with a redneck accent. Really good lit RPG series, so definitely recommend those books. I got them for like $3 or $4 for, whenever they were on sale.
Oh, okay. I am glad that you told me about JT Williams, because I keep seeing a Facebook ad that says, if you like Dragonlance, check this out. And I've been tempted, but now I'm not tempted.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for it. But that's just me. You know, but everybody hits on. The book had like a 4 point something rating, so hey, maybe you're into it. If you are, bless your heart and your mind, because you have no intelligence.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding. You have
the words spoken by Richard are his and his alone, and do not affect the Knights of the Brow. Even when you're the boss, they won't affect the Knights of the Brow.
Exactly. But let's try to do what we did last week.
All right.
And we already know what the environment is. But the Arctic is snow, ice, and seawater, with some glaciers and treacherous moving shells of ice to negotiate. That is your environment, Jesse. Now, I'm going to get you to describe me a scene.
All right. Snow blankets the ground, as the only sound is the wind whipping through the trees, as the goblin slaves are forced to pull the cart. There are 2 goblins on this cart, and the cart is supposed to hold 4, but the slave master doesn't care about that. He only has 2 goblins, so 2 goblins are going to carry the cart. They struggle and they grunt as they try to pull this massive cart through the snow, hoping not to slide, because they know if they slip, slipping means death.
Excellent. Now, a bit different from what we did last week, where I give you a scene. I want you to give me 2 things that I need to include into my scene of the Arctic. It can be anything.
Like anything, even if it's goofy?
If it's goofy.
All right. I will say you need to include a snowman and a duck.
A snowman and a duck.
I do not know why I thought of duck, but that's the first thing that popped in my head. So
Okay, Adam Sandler and Billy Madison. I drew a blue duck. Look at this. I've never seen a blue duck. Alright. The scene is the sky overhead is dark and clear. The stars shine down, looking as though they are eyes peering down on the scene below, which shows a dwarven child building a snowman while he sings a dwarven Christmas song. The wind does blow, stirring the already fallen snow gently swirls eddy up into the air. The village, which is where this child lives, is made up of 8 houses with smoke curling up from the chimneys, showing you that there are fires and warmth inside. The child, as he finishes his snowman, places a hat upon his head, coal for the eyes and mouth, and sticks a carrot in for his nose. He pats the snowman down, making sure that he will stay there a little longer. And as he walks back to his village home, attached to him via a leash is his pet duck, Homer, who waddles by his side, quacking every once in a while to indicate his love for the dwarven boy.
That is awesome, and I love that.
And, you know, like we were talking last week, both times, you need to be ready to improv. I had no idea what Jesse was going to bring in there, and I'm sure anybody who's listening to this, including Jesse here, was like, how's Richard going to bring this duck into here?
Yes. At first, I thought the duck was going to like swoop down to attack the child or something, like a mutant duck.
In fact, I can tell you that scene in a totally different context as well. You know, the little boy in this village, as the snow flurries fall down from the wind that blows, pats down the snow, creating the snow duck. He makes a snowman in the shape of a duck.
Yep, they
See?
both work.
Yeah. You just need to be ready for improving because you don't know what's going to come up. Now, Jesse's, you know, like we tried to do last week, was a bit more on the horror side of things. I wouldn't say necessarily like Michael Myers kind of horror, but dark side.
Right.
Whereas mine was, you know, a bit more happy
Well,
and
yeah. Which is
Yeah.
funny. You would think it would be reversed.
right.
Like anybody who knows us would think that
Yeah.
I would do the happy one.
But I can make a dark scene. I
Right,
mean,
right. Of course.
Yeah. You know, for instance, I'm going to use a cabin. The cabin stands there lonely on top of the hill. The blackened windows looking as though there are eyes in the skull peering over this happy village below. The malevolence coming from this cabin as the inhabitants below have no idea what has come into this world.
And a windmill crushes the cabin.
But that's the kind of things that will work with any game,
Mhm.
whether
Right.
it's, you know, D&D, whether it's, you know, Star Wars 5e, you know, it could be on the planet, it could be Dungeon World, it can be any kind of game. You know, you just need to be ready to set your scene, and you need to know a little bit about your scene. Like, you know, if you was going to do the underworld, which we will get to, you know some rock names, know some gym names to be ready to throw those in there into some of your descriptions. Otherwise, you'll be like me whenever I was running Curse of Strahd and you see fog. There's fog.
Well, there's not a lot of descriptions for fog, though. Really, to be honest with you,
No, there's not.
I'm kind of coming into that with the Abyss. It says everything's a cavern. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, and sometimes you really don't have that you can go outside of, you know, but maybe you can describe it instead of this cavern being gray rock, this cavern is full of limestone and quartz, and you see sparkling in it from fool's gold.
Right.
Or perhaps
This-
you know, I mean, something like that.
This cavern is full of a rhinestone cow dwarf.
But I want to get to this creature here that I was looking at. It's called a Remorhaze, I guess is how you
The
say it.
hell?
Well, it's let's see if I can get to the description here.
As he's doing that, I just want to tell everybody I'm obsessed with looking through the Monsters of the Multiverse book because there are so many different opportunities for things.
Yes, there are. This monster has an armor class of 17.
Oh,
195 average hit points.
oh boy.
And let's see. It's a challenge of 11. It has a heated body. And if you hit it in melee, you get an average of 10 points of like fire damage.
Oh, from touching it?
Yeah, from hitting it.
Oh.
It can bite you, and if it bites you, then you're grappled. And it can swallow you, and it has multi-attack. I'm hunting the description here, but I know it like goes around in snow, which is why I picked it for the Arctic region. And other things, too, that go with the Arctic is these Remorhazes or whatever cannot tolerate warm weather at all. But you can also bring in environmental hazards. You all come across this with the Rime of the Frost Maiden, the blizzard.
I hate those damn things.
The cold. And you've come across this running the out of the abyss with the rock fall. The collapsing tunnel. Bring some things like that into your session. Like if your players are having too easy of a time, you can throw that in there too, and it adds quite a bit of chaos into it because it makes you think about, oh, well, how am I going to get around this particular thing? And y'all also had the wind. With Rime of the Frost Maiden, you had several people get lost. During blizzards. So the blizzards bring in hazards into your game, which I think is something very, very important that needs to happen, especially if your characters are having too easy of a time.
And it just made me think of it when you said about that creature, you hitting it does fire damage. You guys didn't come across. I mean, you came across it, but it didn't hit you. The ooze in the abyss actually can, if you hit it with a melee weapon, I forget what it has to be, but you guys didn't come across this or have this happen. It'll take away damages. I think damages from your weapon because it erodes metal.
Right. So throw some different stuff like that in there too, whether it's D&D, like I said, or any other gaming system. Like, right. For instance, on Mothership, anybody who has not listened to that, you need to go listen to it. It's a lot of fun to play and run.
Oh, it was so much fun. I loved. Sam may be my favorite character ever now.
But the yellow goo that y'all came across.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
It dripped on you. You failed your body save. And therefore it caused damage to you. If you'd have hit it, it would have caused damage to you. So it's things like that make you think of different ways to attack it. Which I think is just really, really awesome.
I don't know if you felt this way. You're like me, so you probably did. I would love to see more adventures of just the two androids and like Sam slowly being corrupted. That was so much fun.
It was. I really, really liked how it ended.
And I'm glad we're playing 2 weeks of Adventure Skeletons because I don't want to. As funny as it sounds, I don't want to like say goodbye to this group.
Right. It is a great group, and my thanks to all of them for playing.
Yeah.
But let's.
I mean, I'll have to say goodbye to my friend Temple.
Yeah.
Because you notice that I don't hate him.
An adult was talking.
Shut up, Steven.
Let's talk about character creation. Now, last
All right.
week,
Oh, that's right. Yes.
we talked about playing yourself. Especially if you're new to creating characters, play yourself because who knows you better than you?
And like we said, kind of like, I think we said this in one of the recordings, but if you're into pro wrestling, you're yourself, but you turn it up to 11.
Yeah, you can be. Or tone it down and make yourself kind of like Jake the Snake, or, where you're not all hyper, but you're really slow, methodic, and, make people question your sanity.
So is that what you did with Periwinkle? Slowed yourself down, or is that just the real you that we got to meet?
Yeah, it's kind of the real me. It was kind of the real me, just like well, I can't speak on that in
just like dumbed down.
Yeah, but that's that's something that you can do when you're playing yourself. But today or this week's tip is to be your evil twin.
That sounds very interesting. I never thought of it that way.
It's a good way to think about it. You've played in enough games with me, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be an evil character because it's fun for me.
And 8 times out of 10, it's going to be a dwarf.
Yes, well, maybe 10 out of 10. No, not quite 10 out of 10 times. But I mean, I have a lot of fun as a good aligned character. Don't get me wrong, but I really enjoy playing the evil character. Especially whenever it unnerves people, like not in a bad way, but like in the Tuesday group, it unnerves
It's working
them.
great there.
Oh yeah, and you've played with Phoenix and now with Hoggle, 2 totally different types of evil characters there. Phoenix was all about helping, whereas Hoggle is just a sick, sadistic little piggy.
Yeah, Hoggle doesn't help much, does he?
Not really. Not unless it benefits him.
I mean, Phoenix was all about, you had the same goal.
Right. And Phoenix was willing to help the group because it helped his overall goal as well. And Hoggle is like, yeah, I'll heal you. Oh, thank you for a price. You'll owe me a favor.
Having more like role play under my belt and more characters, I would love to revisit those debates with Phoenix and Krager.
Oh, you could never do it, lad. Because see, I have more intelligence than you do.
They had a grudging friendship though, which was funny.
But that's a tip. It's like, if you're goody two shoes, like some people are, just totally flip that around. Be that quote unquote devil on your other shoulder, and have a little fun with it. Do what you can.
Another way that I've gotten around that, like the goody two shoe thing, is I just make my character good but chaotic good.
Yeah, you could never play an evil character in a campaign.
I don't know though. You don't think Sam could have? I kind of got into it a little bit with Sam, I think.
I think you could, but only because you knew there was only like 2 more sessions left.
Yeah, I don't think I could do a long running campaign as evil.
Yeah, but you know me, I can.
Or maybe neutral. Maybe I could do neutral though.
I think neutral's a lot harder, but
okay.
That's just the way I play,
Yeah.
And this was something I should have said at the beginning of the show, but the Knights of the Rail are on TikTok now, so yeah, we have ventured out there, giving tips and things like that for for you all that follow us. So be sure to follow at Knights of the Braille, all one word with the @ symbol in front of it, to look us up on TikTok and check out the videos there. Is there anything else that you have, Jesse?
No, not really. Just it won't be this week, but next week we're getting a new player in the Tuesday campaign. It's not much of a surprise. Basically, other than Adrian, the Tuesday and Wednesday groups are exactly the same, which is good because we all work well together.
This is true, and that I get to play on Tuesday and I run on Wednesday. So
right, you get to play with everybody on Tuesday, other than me.
Yeah, although you do try from time to time.
I can't help myself. I know, I do. My favorite part is, I have an NPC here.
Exactly. It's all good though. But again, thank you to Jim for starting Knights of the Braille.
Yes.
Means a lot to me. Great community. And if y'all would like to send in audio clips of, your thanks to Jim or your thanks to Jim, however you want to say it, I will create an episode of just that so that Jim has it. Just send them to either me on Discord, Unknown's DM, Bean Bean 7483 1561, I think is my stuff. Or better yet, send it to Dale Jr. Fan 83 at gmail.com. I know Jim will probably be upset for me for saying this, so yeah, but we really don't care because he's leaving anyway. So, so be sure to send them in if you want to. If you don't want to, it's fine too. We all know that you're thankful. And if there's nothing else, Jesse, remember to like, share, and
subscribe.
This episode is brought to you by the Knights of the Braille and is made possible through the support of viewers such as you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to get all of the latest information and episodes. Thank you.